Well, welcome back to the channel. Today we got a great episode for you. We're going to be looking at some ice falls underneath this really cool stone bridge here. We've got some this is all granite here. These really cool ice falls in here. And I'm going to see if we can find some really interesting ones to photograph. Over here, it's crazy. Look at this. It's been really cold here. And I'm telling you, these are really interesting. So as you can tell, we got some really interesting ice falls here. And I'm going to try and make some interesting black and whites. Of course, you know me, I kind of like black and white, but I'm going to do the best I can to try and give you some really interesting outlooks on this stuff. Look at that. Look at the ice falls behind me. Crazy stuff. Wow. I can't wait to shoot these. Look at this stuff over here. It is great. Wow. Interesting. So let's get on with some photographs here. Look at these ice falls. Wow. They've gotten so big they're starting to break off. And it's 32 degrees, so we've gotten some, we're getting some melting right now, but really, really interesting. Oh, there goes one right now. Boy, this is kind of exciting. The general idea here is to isolate these icicles. So what I'm going to do is use the 70-300 to really isolate these icicles. I'm going to be working in this area up here. I don't know if you can see them in this frame. Yeah, right up in there. So here's the composition here. We're going to try and capture some water coming off of them, and we're also going to, I don't know if you can see up here, but here we go. So I'm going to try and make sure those are visible, get some water dripping off of here. It'll be kind of interesting. So there's a real interesting problem with exposure here. We've got some really bright areas and we've got some really dark areas and we've got some shadow that we want to come out. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to bracket a little bit, but the histogram is showing that the bright stuff's all the way over here and the black stuff's all the way over here. So very, very interesting in how I'm going to handle this. What I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and cut it through the middle here, make sure I don't have any clipping, and we'll see what happens. The biggest problem here that I'm really worried about is that we're going to blow out the icicles. So we don't want to have that happen, so we're going to make sure we underexpose a little bit so we get some detail in that. Nice, those really, really interesting rivulets of ice that have been built up with water dripping down. So this is kind of cool. Problem is that we've also got a little bit of a parallax problem because we're aiming up a little bit like this. I'm going to try and take care of that in Lightroom and post and see what happens. But I'm sure it's just, you know, you just balance it back a little bit and it'll look a little bit better. What I've done now is I'm really isolating, getting in tight, knocking out the background. We got that really, really beautiful icicles dripping. It's unbelievable. I just got to find the right composition. I don't know if you can see the camera over here, but I got it zoomed all the way out to 300. Really in tight, really nice and close. I'll tell you, the background is nice and dark, and those icicles are just coming right out at you. They're beautiful. What I've done here is I've tried to zero in on knocking out the background. I got this zoomed out all the way to 300, so that's 450 millimeters full frame. what's really great here is I've been able to move the camera location so there's more directly in front of it. I've got some great opportunities here for some interesting shots. I'm just waiting for the droplets. I hope I can get some of those included. It'd be kind of cool if I do. So I'm going for as much depth of field as possible because we're going all the way out here at 300, and there's some difference in the variation of the icicles. So. If you get a chance, you really like this content, hey, please hit the like button, give me a comment, and subscribe to the channel. That would be really awesome. If you get a chance, check out capeannphototours.com. We got a great workshop in June with Bill Fortney. I know you'll enjoy that one. We had a great time last year, and I know that you will this year too if you come along. Ooh, icicles are falling. Really interesting when you isolate, get a nice dark background. It's really spectacular looking. Of course, these are black and white, so I think you're gonna like these. If you're a photographer and you really enjoy getting interesting photographs, get the heck out there. I mean, come on, it's only 33 degrees. It's not that cold, but there's really interesting stuff in the winter. So get out there and do some photography in the wintertime. So what a great time out here with the granite walls and the really interesting ice falls. So, you know, I've often thought about coming out here and doing this, but, you know, it's a lot of work climbing through the reeds and stuff to get some interesting pictures. But I hope you like this episode. I certainly had a great time doing it. And you know, that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next time.